Hello guys, today we're going to do negative exponents. This can get kind of tricky. Negative exponents technically aren't wrong, but we're going to practice rewriting them using positive exponents. So these might be some rules that you might see later on in the future, so that is why it's important for us to learn them. So let's go ahead and start writing all of these examples with positive exponents. So let's look at number 1. We have 1 over x to the power of negative 2. To make an exponent positive, again, if I'm writing this down, you probably should be too. Make sure you put this in your notes. So to make an exponent positive, move it to the numerator, which is the top numerator. Or if it's in the numerator, you move it to the denominator. So you just move it up and down, depending on where it is, denominator. I think I forgot an N right there. Yep. So let me spell that again, denominator. There we go. All right. So here we have 1 divided by x to the negative 2. We want to make it positive, so I just make it positive by moving it to the top. And technically there's a 1 underneath, but we don't have to write that. So the answer here is just x to the positive 2. Let's go ahead and look at number 3. At the second one. X to the negative 3. Notice that it's already in the numerator, so I'm going to bring it down to the denominator like this. And that's how we write it as a positive answer. Alright, now let's look at this one. This one is a little different because the negative 4 is not including the 3. Look at that. That's 2 different things right there. So for this one, the only one that's to the negative power is the x. So I'm going to keep the 3 in the numerator, and then the x is the only one that comes down, and I make the x to the 4th positive. Again, this is the rule for negative exponents. If you would like to know why it works, just let me know. Shoot me an email or put it in the comment, and I will try to explain why it works. But let's go ahead and do some more. Look at this one. This one does have the 3 in the numerator. The 3 in the parentheses. So for this one, we have to move the entire thing to the 4th power, like that. So here we're going to have 1 over 3 to the 4th, and then x to the 4th. And 3 to the 4th is 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, which is 81. So this one actually was 1 over 81 to the x to the 4th. Again, because this one was in the parentheses versus the one we started with that was not in the parentheses. And I'm trying to emphasize how important those parentheses are. Let's go ahead and look at this one. We want to rewrite it with positive exponents only. This is similar to the stuff you have on Delta Math. So my suggestion is to make all exponents positive first. Make all exponents positive first, and then simplify. So here we only have 1 negative exponent, and it's in the bottom, so I'm going to bring it to the top. So I'm going to keep everything else because I don't need to simplify just yet. And now, instead of having x to the 1 in the bottom, I'm going to bring it to the top as a positive 1, like that. And now I can combine my common bases. X to the 8th and x to the 1 is x to the 9th. And then I have y to the 6th and y to the 4th, which is y to the 10th. So there is my simplified answer. So let's go ahead and try another one. Again, we want to make all the exponents positive first. And here I only have 1 negative exponent, so I'm going to bring it to the bottom. This is where you got to be very careful. This x to the negative 3 comes to the bottom, and you're left with 1 on the top. It just doesn't disappear. It just doesn't become 0. There has to be an understood 1 there. And then I'm going to bring that x to the negative 3 down as a positive. And then I have x to the 4th, x to the 4th. And I can simplify that because these are all common bases. I have 3 plus 4 plus 4. So really I have x to the 11th. So my final answer is 1 over x to the 11th. Okay, and again, we're starting to combine all the skills that we've learned. Let's go ahead and try one more or a couple more. Ooh, this one. This one has multiple negatives, and you're going to have in the numerator and in the denominator. So I'm going to start it by keeping what is not going to move. The y on the end is not going to move, and the x to the third is not going to move because they're already positive. However, this x to the negative 1, I want to make it positive, so I'm going to bring it down. And this y to the negative 1, I want to make it positive, so I'm going to bring it down like that. All right. So I'm going to rewrite this again just to see if we can see it a little bit clearer. I have y in the numerator. I have x to the 1 times x to the third, and then y. So here we have 4 x's in the denominator, x to the 4th. And then what happens to my y's? I have one y on top and one y on the bottom, so my y's cancel out. And what are we left with on the top? A 1. There's always an understood 1. So that is our answer. Let's go ahead and try one more. Again, I'm going to write first what stays in the top because I don't have to move it just yet. The 8 is already positive, so I keep it up there. The y to the 5th and y to the 6th is positive. But what does move is this x to the negative 4th. So I'm going to bring it down as a positive 4. And now I'm going to try to simplify. So I have x to the 8th over x to the 4th and y to the 5th and y to the 6th. Again, the rules from earlier are starting to apply here. We got x to the 8th over x to the 4th. So I have x to the 4th in the numerator. And then on the bottom, we have y to the 5th and y to the 6th. So in total, we have y to the 11th. And that's all we can simplify for now. So that is our final answer. Again, the key here is to make all the negative exponents positive and then combine your common bases. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do just one more so that you can have plenty to practice. Well, actually, why don't you go ahead and try this one? So pause the video, try this one, and then we'll do it together. All right, so I think you paused the video now and you've tried it, so let's do it together. Again, some of you may be using my strategy, some of you may be doing it differently. As long as you get the right answer, I'm okay with that. I'm going to keep y to the third because it's already positive, and y to the 5th because it's positive as well. And then this x to the negative 7. It's a negative 7 in the numerator, so I'm going to bring it down to the denominator. This x to the negative 1. It's a negative in the denominator, so I'm going to bring it to the numerator, like that. And now that I've made all my exponents positive, now I'm going to do all the simplifying. So I'm rewriting the problem down here. All right. Now again, be very careful on the placement here. X to the 1 over x to the 7th. Which one wins? The bottom one by 6. So I'm left with 6 x's in the bottom. And then for the next one, y to the 3rd over y to the 5th. The y wins on the bottom by 2. And very important, we can't forget, what number am I left with on top? A 1. There's an understood 1 left in the top. So that is how we do that example. Hopefully you got that one right. If not, that's okay. Just continue practicing and make sure that you move the negative exponents into positive ones by moving it either to the top or the bottom. So let's see if I have another example. This will be our final example. Go ahead and try this one real quick and see if you can get it. Pause the video, write it down. All right, so I think you paused the video and done that. So let's do it together. Again, I'm going to keep the x to the 3rd up here and the x to the 5th down here because they're already positive. However, this x to the negative 3, I'm going to bring it to the bottom to make it positive. And I'm going to write it this way. X to the third over, down here, I technically have 8, x to the 8th. And then we're back to that one step dividing, 1 over x to the 5th. Very good. Hopefully you got that right. Let me know if you have any questions. There is Delta Math on this to practice. And show all your steps because they can get confusing. It's hard if you try to do it in your head. Have a good day, guys.